Hi, this is Petey from BurgZerg Arcade at BurgZergArcade.com, and today I just wanted to go over some of the basics in getting started with Unity. Now, if you don't already have it, you should go to this URL, which is Unity3d.com/Unity/download, and you can get the latest version, which is Unity 2.6.1 at the time of this recording, for free. Just click Download Now, and there's also a Windows version if you're running on a PC. So once you have it downloaded and installed, just simply hold Alt down and click the button, and you'll be given the project wizard. Now you can either open up one of your old projects or create a new one. We're going to create a new one for this tutorial. So let's click Set. I'm just going to throw it on the desktop. I'm going to call it Demo. I've already actually created this one, but that's fine. We'll just override it. Okay, well, we'll just call it Demo 1. Now, Unity ships with a couple packages already built in. If you're using the free version, you won't have access to the Pro Standard assets, but that's okay because we're not going to use either one of them in this tutorial. So just click Create Project. Now, Unity first starts up. This is going to be your default view. There's a few windows here that we'll just quickly cover over what's going on in each one. Up here you'll notice it says we're on the scene view, and there's also a game view. The scene view is your 3D space. It's where you build up your levels. This is where you can add objects and you can move around and do all sorts of things in here. The game view, this is the view you're going to have when you're actually playing your game. And when you're playing your game, you can hit start and your game will start, and this is where you see everything. You can pause it. But we're just going to stop it for now. This is the hierarchy window. The hierarchy window will list all the objects that you currently have in your scene. So let's quickly just add something. You can go up to Game Objects and create. Let's just do a plane. And there you go. You can see it. Now, if you select it up here, just select it once so it goes blue. And you hold down Alt and the left mouse button, you can swing around on it to get different views and angles. If you wanted to actually rotate it, well, you can click on these little axes and spin it around however you'd like. You can scale it by clicking that and either clicking on these individual ones, on the individual axis bars, or if you click the square in the center, you can do all of them simultaneously. So let's add another object. Let's add, let's just add a cube, just so we have a couple objects in there. Now we want to move this up so it's not halfway through. If you notice, it's halfway through our plane. Let's move it on top of the plane. There we go. Now, when you want to move around in the scene view, if you click the little hand, you can pan. If you have nothing selected, you can rotate around the whole scene. The mouse wheel, you can scroll in and out on your scene. So, with nothing selected, we'll just scroll around. This is your project window. Now, your project window will contain all of the assets that are available to your game. Now, it's important to note that you could have tons and tons of things in here, but if they're never included in any of your scenes, when you build your game, they won't be included when the game's compiled. So, we didn't actually include anything, so let's just make one. Let's just make a new C# script. Well, you can double click it to make a new C# script. Now we can change the script. Let's just call it, my test script. Now there's two ways to edit it. You can go up here and click the button, Edit, which will load it up, or just double click it. Now for C#, it's important to note that your class name has to be the same as what you called it over here. So we're just going to change this to my test script. So save it. On the Mac, that's Command S, and on Windows, it'll be Control S. Or you can also go up here and just click Save. So we have one asset. Now we can take these assets. So if we select, let's say we'll select the cube for now. You can take these assets and attach them to game objects, and it becomes a component of that game object. Now this leads to the inspector. Now when you have a game object selected either in the hierarchy or in the project window, you will get information about that game object over here, and you can actually change a lot of the properties, at least the public properties of the game object and its components. Each one of these is a component. You can open and close, well, you can open and close all these components. Let's just open them up for now by default. Now there's a lot of things you can actually do with the inspector. Let's take this cube for instance. Let's say we want to center it in the game world. We can either come in here and type 0, 0, 0. That centers it, and if you notice it's back halfway through our plane again. We can change its Y to 10. Now when an object goes off the screen like this in your scene view, if you select it in the hierarchy and just hit the F key, you'll center in on it again. Let's just take it and reset its position. There we go, it disappeared again, but we had it selected. So let's just move it. Hit F and go there, then move it back up manually. Now if we went back over to the game view, you'll notice that we can kind of see something. It's gray, it's not very entertaining. Let's go back into our scene, add another game object. This time we'll add a light. Let's add a directional light. It starts off way down at the bottom, well at the center, so we'll just zoom around, pick it up, hit the E key for the rotation tool, and just rotate it a bit. We'll move it. Now up here you'll notice it says local. We can switch this over to global and watch the axes over here. Global space will always be the same orientation, but when you hit local space, because we have the light rotated, the axes will point in different directions. So let's keep it in global, and let's just move it back. Now when we go to our game view, it's lit up. We can actually see stuff. It's still not very appealing, but we're getting there. Let's select our camera. Let's move that up a bit. Now, one of the things I like to do is to take the game window, and you can actually drag these windows out and dock them around on different parts of the screen. So let's put this down here. You can actually do the same with any of the windows. So you can actually take the hierarchy, put it down with the project window, and now you have two large columns. I generally like my project window down here. Scale up a bit more. Another window I usually like to have open, but we don't really need it right now. So if you come over to Window and hit Console, if you come over to Console, you can take that and just drag it in there. Now when you're creating your game, as you get various errors and warnings, or you can have debug statements, it's going to come out to the console here. So it's going to become pretty important later on. But for now, we're not really going to use it. So here we are, we're looking in the game view, and we want to center this camera to get a better view of the cube. So again, select the camera, hit F, we're going to scroll in a bit. If you hold the Alt key down on the left mouse button, you can rotate around the camera. So let's move it over this way a bit. Let's rotate. Let's rotate on this axis to give it kind of a top-down view. And move up. There we go. So if you hit play, another thing to notice is you can maximize the window on play. So if you hit that and then click play, the whole screen will maximize. So it's a bit better of a view. You can actually see where the light is lighting things up. The gray kind of just blends together. So one of the